So we don't just deal with Bob the broker down the road. And as you can see here, these guys are not just your average brokers, but more so strategists. As we discussed previously, the finance structure is vital. So they'll run you through the structure of exactly how it's going to work, where the equity or deposit is coming from, how long it will potentially take to pay down your home mortgage, and what it's going to look like so you understand exactly how it will work from A to Z. Now, if you were to actually find a broker that offered this level of engagement and put this together for you, they charge upwards of $500. But for our Portfolio Builder members, this is included, which is a one-on-one finance strategy session. So now we have our finance strategy and borrowing capacity in place. We now need to hone in on our 7 o'clock market. So let's quickly discuss what makes a 7 o'clock market and how we find them. One of the biggest economic drivers of property values is business profitability and employment. Business profitability is often supported by a growing population, and this in turn leads to employment creation. People want to live close to where they work, and so a great investment location is found only in areas within a short commutable distance from well-paid work. An acceptable commutable distance varies according, to the locality, but typically it's 15 to 30 minutes from work. Highly paid work can be found in many locations, but typically the areas with the lowest risk are the capital cities and large regional centres that don't rely on just a few industries. So to sum it up, economics and employment, population, infrastructure, spending, supply and demand, and so forth. We basically take what would appear to the average investor like a blurred and confusing load of statistics and data, then decipher and condense the information to provide to our members in plain English. But don't get too bogged down with all of this. That's what we do all time. So instead of the confusion, it pretty much looks like this. Like looking down the scope of a sniper's rifle, but at the areas that are going to outperform with pinpoint accuracy. So then we offer our selection of property choices. Now obviously it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, as different people have different borrowing capacities. Okay, so we've got various different options, from great townhouse deals through to cash flow positive unit or apartment developments ranging from $300,000 right up through to our dual income properties. And then the creme de la creme, our instant equity, our duplex deals. So there's a wide range of properties that will basically fit or suit every client's needs. So once we've gone through our property selection, we then drill right down into our comprehensive due diligence, or what we call an information memorandum, or jargon-free but on-point information. We give you the exact specifications of the property and all the key features. We look at comparable properties using research tools that a lot of the mainstream don't have access to gain an understanding of what's fair or market value. In some cases, where possible, we'll be supplied with a bank valuation prior, just to confirm that we're not paying above the market, so we can all be comfortable that the purchase is well within price point and we don't get too many surprises. Then we'll obviously look at the depreciation side of things, which is the key ingredient to our income tax withholding variation, so we can see exactly what it's going to look like from the financials perspective. And of course, we supply numerous rental appraisals from independent local property managers. And through the whole process, you'll have access to your own personal property specialist. It's nice and easy to ask questions and get answers to some pressing questions throughout the process, as our team are property investors themselves, and they know what it's like when investing. Now for the crucial part, crunching the numbers. We input the numbers into our specialized property analysis software with everything inclusive. As you can see here, interest rates and our tax deductibility, property management costs, other associated property costs like rates, insurance, repairs, maintenance, and body corporate fees if applicable. So there are no numbers left out. The weekly rent, we look at our equity deposit, the purchase price, and so forth. You get the idea. Then hit the button, so to speak, so we can assess the data and see if it's going to be a green light or a live deal for you. As you can see here, the 10-year forecast of what it's going to look like for you from year 1 right through to year 10 with the pre-tax and post-tax outcomes, which is vital to understand for the viability of your investment. So as you can see, the property in this example is $131 cash flow positive net after tax. And guys, we have plenty of deals like this in most price ranges. And here's some feedback from one of our many happy clients. PPI helped us search for the most suitable option and support you through the whole deal in a very professional but warm and friendly manner. And again, I was surprised by the number of times I was contacted to be asked how things were progressing while we were considering various options. Now, the one thing most investors aren't 100% sure about is how to protect their portfolio, or what's called asset protection. Is it going to be held in our personal name for income tax purposes? If so, how many? Or in a company, a family trust, a unit trust? Is it going to be a hybrid trust? Guys, there's so many different ways we can be investing, different vehicles we can be using to hold our investments. And it's not a case of one size fits all. Each have their benefits and also their limitations. Again, you have access to your one-on-one with our guys to work out the best vehicle for your specific situation. And yes, we've got the legal side covered for you as well, which is crucial. Our specialist property solicitors will personally walk you through the contract. Remember, they work for you, not for the seller or vendor. So when it comes to the conveyancing side of the process, you'll have a thorough understanding of your contractual obligations and timeframes, etc. Now, obviously most people are aware that self-managed superannuation is a massive growth market for property investment and something that may be advantageous for you. So you can perhaps take back control of your retirement funds and allocate them to property investment if that's appropriate for your specific situation. And we certainly have a team of specialists who can facilitate the SMSF side for you. So you'll have access to your one-on-one session with our SMSF team. And a lot of these one-on-ones are about $280 plus an hour, but you get your one-on-one session with one of our SMSF specialists as part of your membership. Now these guys, well, they are paramount to any investment strategy, specialist property accountants. And yes, you get a one-on-one with our guys to work out the best structure so you can start to minimize your tax legally. Remember our depreciation schedules and our income tax withholding variations so we can claim back our tax dollars weekly, not annually, which helps massively with our cash flow? Again, these guys usually charge upwards of $250 per hour, part of your membership. A biggie, which a lot of people overlook or don't fully understand, and often most people don't know what they are, or more so are not covered for in the event that something happens or someone's injured on your property. Insurance is one of the ones we sometimes think of like we do a lawyer. You really don't want to know about them until you need them, and then often it's too late. So insurance is something you definitely don't want to overlook. Policies like landlord's insurance, building and contents, and your risk insurances like income protection and permanent disability, etc. So we have a one-on-one with our insurance advisors, and they can run through exactly which of these policies will be best suited for your specific needs, so everything's covered and your portfolio is not hanging in the winds exposed to any risk. Property management. Whilst we're not property managers, we certainly put you in touch with what we believe to be the best property managers in the specific area you're investing in. We like to assist and put you in the hands of the people who are going to be looking after your property the best, and also at the best rates we can negotiate. Oftentimes we can negotiate decent management rates given the fact of the sheer volume that we do in any given area. Guys, our members are our most important part of our business, as are our advisory networks, as you can see. We love the guidance and support with finding the appropriate legal team, mortgage brokers, as well as the property managers for our rental property. So now we have our investment property tucked away nicely in our portfolio. The next part, which we spoke about earlier in the investor's pyramid, is duplication. We have your annual portfolio review so we can see how your plan's tracking along. And just like anything else, you need to monitor and measure to see our progress. And that comes in the way of performance reports based on the area, the growth statistics, and of course new and current valuations. So back to the start we go for a session with our finance strategist to gain a clear understanding of our equity position. And then you know what happens next. We've just covered it. Redo our property investment plan and time to invest again and again until we have hit our target or our goalposts. So there's three things we can do from here. Well, one option is you can bury your head in the sand and do nothing. You've taken away some great information. And perhaps you'll do nothing with it, and that's what we call the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people on this session will think, well, that all sounded great, I'll get to that tomorrow. And they'll go back to their day-to-day lives and nothing ever changes. One of the great quotes I love from Einstein is his definition of insanity, and that's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. In other words, if you want things or the outcomes for your future to be a little more rosy, you may have to start doing things a little differently. And the time to start That is now. Option 2 is we can take the information from our session and go it alone, out in the marketplace. Read all the magazines, which are usually behind the 8 ball as far as current information. Subscribe to the research and data providers we do, and then try to decipher all of the information so it makes common logical sense. Then, once you've worked